Colic is one of the most perplexing and distressing phenomena that new parents encounter, fundamentally characterized by prolonged, inconsolable crying in an otherwise healthy and well-fed infant. Defined medically by the traditional rule of 3, crying for more than 3 hours a day, for more than 3 days a week, for over 3 weeks, colic typically peaks around 6 weeks of age and mysteriously resolves by the 3rd or 4th month of life. Despite decades of exhaustive pediatric research and observational studies, the exact etiology of infant colic remains frustratingly elusive. This ambiguity has led to a major ongoing debate within the medical community and among exhausted parents worldwide. Is this excessive crying primarily caused by intense digestive distress, or is it the inevitable result of neurological sensory overload? Decoding this complex phenomenon requires a highly nuanced understanding of early infant development, acknowledging up front that the answer most likely lies at the intricate intersection of both physiological limitations and environmental factors. Historically, the most widely accepted and frequently diagnosed explanation for colic has been deeply rooted in the gastrointestinal tract. The very word colic is directly derived from the ancient Greek word kolikos, which translates to meaning relating to the colon, effectively underscoring this long-standing historical association with stomach pain. Proponents of the digestive theory consistently point to the distinctive physical symptoms often exhibited by colicky babies during a crying episode: tightly clenched fists, stiffly arched backs, and distended, noticeably tense abdomens. These specific physical cues strongly suggest acute abdominal pain, leading medical professionals to form hypotheses involving trapped intestinal gas, severe acid reflux, or painful intestinal spasms that the baby cannot control. Furthermore, it is a biological fact that the infant digestive system is remarkably immature and underdeveloped at the time of birth. The delicate microbiome of the newborn gut is still in the very early stages of establishing itself, frequently lacking the necessary balance of beneficial intestinal flora to efficiently process complex milk proteins or lactose. This inevitable transitional phase can easily lead to increased gas production, altered gut motility, and localized internal inflammation, all of which act together to cause significant discomfort for the baby. Food allergies, particularly a sensitivity or complete intolerance to cow's milk protein that is passed directly through breast milk or standard commercial formula, have also been heavily implicated in severe colic cases. When specific dietary adjustments, such as switching to a specialized hypoallergenic formula or drastically altering the nursing mother's daily diet, result in an immediate cessation of crying, the digestive argument naturally appears to be completely indisputable. However, an increasingly prominent and well-researched school of thought challenges this purely gastrointestinal perspective. This modern approach suggests that colic is not a stomach issue at all, but rather primarily a neurological phenomenon directly related to intense sensory overload. According to this sensory theory, the newborn human brain is exceptionally sensitive and relatively unequipped to filter out the overwhelming barrage of stimuli present in the bright, noisy extrauterine environment. During the first few critical months of life outside the womb, infants undergo rapid and massive neurological leaps, forcing them to process an immense amount of visual, auditory, and tactile information simultaneously. By the end of a long day, a baby's rapidly developing but fragile nervous system may simply become totally overwhelmed by this constant sensory input. This systemic overwhelm results in an involuntary end-of-day discharge of accumulated nervous tension through intense, uncontrollable bouts of crying. This theory aligns perfectly with the typical, predictable pattern of colic, which notoriously peaks in the late afternoon and early evening hours. This specific time of day is colloquially known among parents and pediatricians alike as the dreaded witching hour. Furthermore, physical interventions that closely mimic the sensory deprivation and soothing physical boundaries of the maternal womb are often highly effective in calming colicky infants. Techniques such as tight, secure swaddling, continuous rhythmic swaying, and the application of loud, rhythmic white noise can often soothe a crying baby almost instantly. If the infant's pain were purely digestive and localized in the gut, these external sensory interventions would theoretically offer little to no actual physiological relief. The observable fact that external motion and specific sound frequencies can abruptly halt a severe crying spell strongly supports the neurological hypothesis. It implies that the infant is actually experiencing a profound internal dysregulation of sensory processing rather than suffering from acute, localized abdominal pain. Recent comprehensive developmental theories graciously propose a logical synthesis of these two opposing perspectives. These theories suggest a holistic biobehavioral model where digestive functions and neurological processing are viewed as deeply and fundamentally intertwined. The widely studied gut-brain axis, a complex bidirectional communication network connecting the enteric nervous system of the digestive tract with the central nervous system, plays a crucial role in regulating early infant development. It is highly plausible that minor, everyday digestive discomforts, which an older, more developed child might easily ignore, are massively amplified by a newborn's hypersensitive and immature nervous system. Conversely, a prolonged state of neurological distress and sensory overload can actively trigger negative physiological responses within the baby's body. For example, a distressed baby might swallow excess atmospheric air during a prolonged crying fit, or experience severe stress-induced changes in their natural gut motility. These physiological reactions to stress inadvertently create a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle of physical discomfort and emotional crying that is incredibly hard to break. Therefore, an infant who is initially just environmentally overstimulated may begin to cry, subsequently swallow air, develop painfully trapped gas, and then cry even more intensely from the new physical pain, completely blurring the lines between the initial cause and the ultimate effect. In conclusion, successfully decoding the complex enigma of infant colic requires parents and doctors to move thoughtfully beyond the simplistic binary debate of digestive versus neurological origins. While immature gastrointestinal function and potential dietary intolerances are absolutely tangible contributors to infant physical discomfort, the profound developmental impact of sensory overload and neurological maturation simply cannot be ignored or minimized. Colic is most accurately and compassionately understood as a multifaceted developmental hurdle. It is a loud, distressing reflection of the immense physiological and psychological adjustments that every infant must bravely make while transitioning from the dark, quiet womb to life in the busy outside world. By comprehensively addressing both potential digestive irritants and proactively minimizing environmental overstimulation, caregivers can far better support their infants through this highly turbulent yet wonderfully transient stage of early human life.